Hey everybody, just want to do a quick update video of what's happening around here, and that's about it. So, Lotus is just sitting here. I've got only the grill left to do. Just something along these lines. Can you see that? Just a coarse mesh. The car is going to be on display, and John doesn't want kids throwing pop bottles and stuff in the front, so I'm just putting a temporary removable grill in there to keep it clean. So that's good. I have to polish the back of the car today, and then this thing will be ready to go by the weekend. That'll be nice to have that out of my life. That's a big project, and I'm happy it's done. This is more light hits for my neighbor Mel, who smashed into his wife's Volvo, so that's kind of fun. Got to keep the neighbors happy if you're going to run a sketchy junkyard. And I've got to strip the Volvo doors, get all the panels and stuff off of them. These are the damaged doors, so I've got to take those all apart so I can put the pieces on the other car. I haven't gotten time to pull the posts yet on the car, but hopefully soon. That involves a trailer ride up to my old boss's place, who has a proper frame rack. What's Frankers barking about now? There you are. Do you like the snow? Let's go. Now that we found the Frankers, let's have a look at the building. Oops. So, good thing we got it sheeted. It's starting to snow on it. All that's left is to build the peak that comes back, or the overhang rather, and just ran out of time. So hopefully it'll warm up in the next week or two for a couple of days and give me enough time to do that. And here's what it come out like inside. And yeah, I actually really like the way it looks, and once the overhang is done out front, it should look really cool. And so that's good. So we've decided I'm going to put 3 cars in this kind of showroom looking area, and then I'm going to have 4 over here just in cold storage. This Hudson's going to end up in the new gas station showroom kind of area there. Hey, careful with that. So if we only put 3 cars in there, that allow me to make a rack for these tires. These are all actually brand new. They've never been on cars. There's a lot of singles and a couple of pairs, so they're not really ever going on cars, but they are brand new tires that are pushing 50 years old. So they might go on some kind of a rack, and we can have it look like, you know, the idea is that this looks like an old service station that was built in the 50s and still operating sometime in the late 60s. So it's contemporary with the idea of the imaginary used car lot. Still a lot of work to do. I may even put up a false wall behind where the Hudson is here, so that looks like a completely self-contained place there. And then this can just remain whatever. It's a cold storage status, but this Hudson is actually quite good. See, it doesn't need any chroming. I did back it in here under its own power. That was about 10 years ago. Hasn't moved since. The body is decent and not rusty, and the car is complete, and the engine's not wrecked, but it really does need everything going through. The paint is amateur night old paint job, and the interior is mousy, but all there. And yeah, and the body's pretty solid, but the engine will have to come out and probably get taken apart and hot tanked, and you know, it'd be nice to flush it all out. This Kaiser likely just stay here for now. There's a video of this car on the channel somewhere. Unfortunately, it was purchased at some point by somebody who thought they were going to restore it, so they of course got as far as taking it all apart and pushing it outside. So when I got the car, it was completely dismantled. I put it all back together very roughly, just so that it would be in one piece, and then I put it in here because there's a little bit of rust here, but it has floors and rockers and most of the stuff that makes them not viable projects. This is actually decent. The brown's original, kind of a fun old car. Engine stuck, but I got several. It's got some cool stuff like these poverty wheel spats, I think they're called. White painted trim rings to simulate white wall tires. I heard something about it being a shortage of white rubber during the Korean War. I don't know. The car is a 51, so that's at least a possibility. If we're drawing on our, you know, whatever we learned from watching MASH, I guess. This 750 Honda project, not really a project, this is parts. This frame is bent and crashed, but the engine was rebuilt right before it was crashed. I picked it up 20 years ago. I'm going to put the engine in a straight frame that I have already registered. Hey, keep going. And so, that's where we're at over here. And we'll do a quick look at whatever else we're working on at the same time here. Did you find some new sticks? Oh, nice. That's how that's going. Yeah, the Fraser can go inside as soon as the building is done, because the Model T is in its spot right now. And we'll be putting the old Ford truck inside because it is actually a solid car. So that gets to go in the storage area. And this one is going to go beside the Model T in the gas station showroom area. So one of my jobs in the next few days here is get the starter out of this thing and fix the Sprag clutch or whatever they call it that freewheels in one direction. Right now it freewheels in two directions, and so the car is hard to start, but this thing should fire right up. We did have it running in a video series, and I just love the car, and it's pretty solid, so I want it inside. Speaking of wanting inside, Frankers, come here. Come here, let's go inside. Should you get in there? There you go. I got the driver's side floor all buttoned up here yesterday. I had to drive the car outside to paint that bumper for my neighbor, so I already got it messed up, but the floor turned out eventually a certain amount more work than I wanted, but turned out beautifully and should be good for another 50 years. Today's goal, other side. What's next door? Making some good headway on the DS. Fitting panels. I made these for Ashley's Boogie van, so I made one. That's the corner of the back of the truck. Yeah, anyway, I may include a brief overview of how we did that if you guys want. And there's the repair on the floor, which is just terrific. So Jim's working on that. Frankers, are you still looking for that mouse? That was like a long time ago, hey? He's probably gone by now. Here's the blank for the van corner. So looks like, according to our pattern, just a bunch of shrinking where the dotted lines are here, and then this is a slightly extruded spot where there's a bit of a body line that fades out, and the rest is a welding flange. So I'm gonna just start shrinking. There's a lot to do in this area here, and the rest of this is pretty easy. So that's the biggest part of this job. Shrink all this down and stretch that little body line in there, and yeah, so I'll start, just because I have the stretcher in here, I'm going to start by stretching that just a tiny bit so that it doesn't pucker when we pound that raised area into it. And that's about it for now. Well, it's about 20 minutes later. Frankers hasn't moved. And neither has the panel. No, it's getting somewhere. So, keeping the old one handy, even though it's garbage. gives us the general idea. So we can see that we're getting there, but this last couple inches is still pretty gappy here. So from there to there, and we got to really get in here and really roll this in. So we're just going to go really heavy in the shrinker there. See some marks in it here from shrinking it. And it's starting to have a little bit of shape. She's starting to roll in there, but she's got to go a lot more, especially near the bottom there. So I'm going to keep pounding on this, and we'll have a look in a minute. Okay, we just finished the second round of shrinking, which was mostly in this area. And, you know, it's not pretty. You can see the second pass, which is really drawn it in. So we're looking at the side of the van here. So it curls under at the back, and then when you look at it from the back, it drops straight down. So that was the idea. I'm going to bump up this little raised area here, which is the remains of the lower body line that runs all the way down the side of the vehicle. So we don't really have much to go by here except for this hint of a profile, but it's all just pretty much toast. So I'll just make it up. It'll be close. Overall, what do we, I don't know, we're about an hour into this. I got one of these cheapo bargain hammering things. So I'm going to use that to kind of smooth out the what do you call it? Whatever this is. Smooth out all the hammer marks and see it looks pretty rough-ski, but we've got the basic, can we see that? That's what it's supposed to look like from looking across the back of the thing. So this is the side of the van, upside down, there. Driver's side rear wheel is a few inches or feet in front of this, I don't know, somewhere in there. So that's the body line that we started with the rocker, and a big shrunken area here to draw that corner in, and now just hamburger. So let's try and smooth it out. Okay, we just quickly stuck it in the planishing hammer for a minute, and it's coming along. But what became obvious that this really sharp turn here, where I've really shrunk it, that's working out okay, except that this, see, it's nice and gentle there, and then it has this big sharp kind of hump in it, and it would be nice if that was kind of a nicer radius like it is here. So one day somebody showed me that you can just kind of beat that down. Since this is trapped here, and if we smash on this, it's not going to open up that radius. I think it leaves us free to just try to hammer that down, and the little bit that escapes is going to go right here on this radius, and that'll be okay. Let's try it. Trying to trap it in here so that it just kind of pushes a little lump up there, so that way we don't stretch this back out. And if this can't move, this has to go up here. Right, well that's starting to work already just fine, right? We'll maybe you have to even shrink that more. We got to really pull that corner around. So we might be at that again, and still just a lump here. Haven't really done anything with that yet, and just trying to get the big lumpy marks out of it, and that's starting to happen. The curve here looks good. The shape is all looking fine because that's the side. And the other nice thing here we have is that none of this is welded. This all just hangs below the vehicle. So if we're out by, you know, 100 thou on the bottom of this, is you're never going to see it. Whereas there's situations where you would. So this is not even that hard. Okay, I'm gonna, I don't know. Oh, well, I'm gonna fit it up against the old one here, because I think that's got to get shrunk more. So just fitted it for now, roughly. Left everything a little bit loose and generous till we get actually out of the car. So I'm just going to sand it down to get some of the ink and whatever off it, and kind of take some of the hammer marks out of it, and we'll see what it looks like. Just testing our new panel against the original piece of the floor, which is also garbage. So just making sure that if we make our floor repair correctly, then this should all go in very nicely. Minimal hammering and just weld it on there as per. This all just kind of hangs there. So these flanges I've left very loose, because then you can adjust it, just get that last little bit. Because if you commit to it now, you have no idea where it's going to be when you put it on the car. Always have to unfold it. So leave it nice and relaxed. This good to go. So that piece is pretty much done until it's ready to put it on the van. Not really that difficult of a piece, but a little tricky, especially getting all that to actually match. Doesn't fit inside, and it really shouldn't. It should be exactly the same size. Oop, can't get it out now. Anyway. Much better. Okay, I will leave the next couple to Ashley. The ass end off of the Citroen here. Got a new one to go on, so that will be coming up. It's fairly, this piece itself is easy. It's getting the collision damage sorted before we put it on is the thing. So that will be coming up, well, whenever Jim has time. And so today I have to polish this so that we can get that Lotus finished. Just, I really just want to say hi and get caught up with you guys, because turn this down. Because, yeah, I mean, you guys are the reason that this show is still on the air, as it were. And so it's important to me. So I really want to keep you guys up to date, because this is what's happening. And I really just want to get going on this Plymouth. Like, it's been a lot of welding, I don't mind saying. The floor is one of the last things to do, and then we can start the body work and prep, which is going to be just a walk in the park after all this bullshit. This side, not as bad as the other side, so really looking forward to just wrapping this up today. And then I really think I can, what do we have to do? Oh, we have to take the gas tank out. See, when I spliced the car together, I had to cut that in order to retain the Dodge gas tank temporarily, because the Plymouth tank is no good. The Dodge tank is in excellent condition, but it has the wrong neck. So now this thing is going up in the air, and we're going to pull the tank and then get the tank sent out to somebody who can solder the neck in. I could probably figure it out, but I don't want to because I've got other things to do. So we'll be farming that out. I have the SM headlights out getting cleaned, and then they're going to get sent off to be silvered. So I'm not sure how long that's going to take or what's involved there or how much it's going to cost, but it's going to take a while and probably be expensive. Once the SM front headlight assembly is finished, that's really half the work on that car. I told myself no touching the rest of the car till the front end is completely done, because when you get hung up on something like that, as I do, I just didn't want the whole car scattered all over the place. So we're going to put the front end back together, paint it, put all the lights in, get it all working, and then start on the rest of the car. And it'll go pretty quick, and I'm going to have some fun with it, and I want it to be decent. So that's the plan, right, little mini Frankers? What is your plan? Is your plan to go outside again? Okay, let's go. Okay, well, I'm going to take Mini Frankers for a walk here because she likes to run around, and then I'm going to pop in and edit this up and put it up for you guys. And today is, I don't know, I think it's Tuesday today. Is it Tuesday? Are you in a hurry? Okay. Franker says it's probably Tuesday, so happy Tuesday evening, I guess, to you guys, and we'll see everybody very soon. Say bye, Frankers. Bye. Okay.